When did ancient humans start smoking? Imagine living thousands of years ago. No cities, no electricity, no phones, no roads. Just endless forests, towering mountains, dangerous animals, and the constant struggle to survive. As night falls, your family gathers around a campfire. The flames dance in the darkness while smoke slowly rises into the night sky. Everyone has seen smoke before, but one day, something unusual happens. Someone throws a strange plant into the fire. The smell is different. Instead of smelling like ordinary wood, the smoke has a sweet, powerful aroma. Curious, someone leans closer and accidentally breathes it in. Minutes later, they begin feeling different. Maybe calmer, maybe happier, maybe more alert. Without realizing it, humanity may have just taken its very first step toward smoking. But did this really happen? Who was the first person to smoke? And why would anyone willingly breathe smoke into their lungs? Today, we're traveling back through thousands of years of human history to uncover one of the strangest stories ever told. The story of smoking. To understand where smoking began, we first need to understand fire. For almost all of human history, fire was the greatest invention our ancestors ever discovered. Scientists believe early humans learned to control fire hundreds of thousands of years ago. Fire changed everything. Before fire, nights were cold and dangerous. Large predators like lions, hyenas, wolves, and saber-toothed cats hunted in darkness. Humans had very little protection, but fire scared many predators away. It provided warmth during freezing nights. It allowed food to be cooked, making meat safer and easier to digest. It even helped humans move into colder parts of the world. Fire wasn't just useful, it transformed human evolution. But every fire created something else. Smoke. At first, smoke was mostly an inconvenience. It made people's eyes burn. It caused coughing. People probably tried to avoid sitting directly in thick smoke whenever possible. However, over many generations, ancient humans noticed something interesting. Not every plant produced the same smoke. Some plants smelled pleasant, others smelled terrible. Some smoke kept insects away, others seemed to make people feel relaxed. Humans are naturally curious. Whenever they discovered something unusual, they experimented. Imagine gathering different leaves, grasses, flowers, and tree bark from the forest. One by one, they tossed each plant into the fire. Every plant behaved differently. Some burned quickly, some produced colorful flames, others filled the air with powerful scents. Without realizing it, early humans were performing the world's first chemistry experiments. Of course, these experiments weren't done for entertainment. Life was extremely difficult. Anything that could help people survive was valuable. If smoke kept mosquitoes away, that was useful. If certain burning herbs made sick people feel better, people remembered it. If one type of smoke seemed to calm frightened children during storms, families continued using it. Slowly, humans built generations of knowledge about plants. This wasn't science written in books. It was knowledge passed from parents to children through stories and experience. Thousands of years passed. Different groups around the world began discovering different plants with unusual effects. Some plants produced relaxing smoke, others had strong medicinal smells. Some created feelings that people couldn't easily explain. Naturally, these mysterious experiences became connected with religion and spirituality. Ancient people believed everything in nature had a spirit. The sun, the moon, the rivers, the mountains, the forests, even plants. If burning certain plants created unusual feelings, many believed those plants allowed humans to communicate with spirits or ancestors. That's why smoke became an important part of many ancient ceremonies. Long before anyone smoked for pleasure, people burned special plants during religious rituals. Shamans, healers, and spiritual leaders believed smoke carried prayers into the sky. Some believed it purified the body, others believed it protected villages from evil spirits. In many cultures, smoke symbolized the connection between earth and the heavens. As smoke rose upward, so did people's prayers. This idea appeared in many different civilizations, even though they lived thousands of kilometers apart. That tells us something fascinating. Humans everywhere were discovering similar ideas independently. But here's something many people don't realize. The first smokers probably weren't using tobacco at all. Tobacco didn't exist everywhere. Instead, different regions experimented with local plants. Some burned aromatic herbs, others burned tree resins. Some experimented with wild plants that naturally contained chemicals affecting the human brain. Each culture discovered its own traditions. Some plants made people sleepy, some increased alertness, others produced mild feelings of relaxation. Although these effects were usually much weaker than modern tobacco products, they were still powerful enough to become important in rituals. Generation after generation, these traditions continued. Children watched their elders perform ceremonies. They learned which plants were sacred, which plants were dangerous, which plants should only be used by healers. Knowledge spread slowly because writing didn't exist yet. Everything depended on memory. Stories became history. History became tradition. And tradition shaped entire civilizations. Eventually, in one particular part of the world, ancient people discovered a plant that would change human history forever. That plant was tobacco. But where did tobacco come from? Who discovered it first? And how did it spread from one small region into nearly every country on Earth? That's where our story continues. So, where did tobacco come from? The story begins in the Americas, thousands of years before Christopher Columbus ever crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Long before Europeans arrived, indigenous peoples of North and South America had already discovered wild tobacco growing naturally across the land. At first, tobacco wasn't an everyday habit. It was considered a sacred plant. Many tribes believed tobacco was a gift from the Creator. They thought its smoke carried prayers into the sky, allowing humans to communicate with spirits and ancestors. Before a hunt, hunters might smoke tobacco and pray for success. Before peace talks, leaders sometimes shared a pipe as a sign of trust and friendship. During healing ceremonies, shamans used tobacco while treating the sick, believing the smoke helped drive away evil spirits. Smoking wasn't something people did out of boredom. It had meaning. Every puff was connected to culture, religion, and tradition. Different tribes also had different ways of smoking. Some carved beautiful stone or wooden pipes, others rolled dried tobacco leaves together, some mixed tobacco with other native plants to create unique blends. Archaeologists have even discovered ancient smoking pipes that are more than 3,000 years old. These discoveries tell us that organized smoking traditions are much older than many people imagine. But for thousands of years, tobacco remained almost completely unknown outside the Americas. That changed in the late 1400s. When Christopher Columbus and other European explorers arrived, they noticed something unusual. Many indigenous people were holding burning leaves or smoking through pipes. At first, Europeans were confused. Why would anyone intentionally inhale smoke? Some sailors thought it looked strange. Others became curious and decided to try it themselves. Before long, tobacco seeds and dried leaves were loaded onto ships and carried across the Atlantic Ocean. Europe had never seen anything like it. At first, tobacco was treated as a miracle medicine. Doctors believed it could cure headaches, toothaches, stomach pain, coughs, infections, and even the plague. People smoked it, chewed it, turned it into powder, and inhaled it through their noses. Some even believed tobacco could help people live longer. Today, we know those beliefs were mistaken, but at the time, medical knowledge was very limited. As European trade expanded, tobacco spread rapidly. It reached Spain, then Portugal, then England. Soon it was growing across Europe. From there, it traveled to Africa, Asia, and eventually almost every corner of the world. Within only a few centuries, tobacco became one of the world's most valuable crops. Entire economies depended on it. Huge plantations were created. Merchants became wealthy. Governments collected taxes from tobacco sales. Smoking had transformed from a sacred ritual into a global business. Over time, new ways of smoking appeared. Pipes became more advanced. Cigars became popular. Eventually, in the 19th century, cigarettes became widely available. Factories could produce millions of cigarettes much faster than people could make them by hand. Smoking became fashionable. Movie stars smoked, business leaders smoked, even doctors appeared in old advertisements promoting cigarettes. But as science advanced, researchers began studying tobacco more carefully. They discovered nicotine, the chemical responsible for many of tobacco's effects. Nicotine reaches the brain within seconds after being inhaled. It triggers the release of dopamine, a chemical that creates feelings of pleasure and reward. This is one reason why people often continue smoking after trying it. The brain begins associating nicotine with feeling good. Over time, quitting can become difficult because the brain adapts to its regular presence. Scientists also discovered something much more serious. Smoking significantly increases the risk of diseases affecting the lungs, heart, and many other parts of the body. As this evidence became stronger, governments around the world introduced warning labels, public health campaigns, and restrictions on smoking in many public places. Today, millions of people have chosen to quit smoking after learning more about its health risks. Modern medicine offers many ways to help people stop, showing how far our understanding has come since ancient times. Looking back, It's amazing how one plant changed human history. It began as a sacred ritual among ancient peoples. Then it became a medicine. Later, it became a worldwide habit. And today, it's one of the most studied plants in medical history. So, when did ancient humans start smoking? The answer isn't a single date. Humans have lived with fire for hundreds of thousands of years, but intentional smoking likely began several thousand years ago when different cultures discovered that certain plants produced unique effects. Among those plants, tobacco eventually became the most famous. What started beside ancient campfires slowly spread across continents and shaped cultures, economies, religions, and even global trade. It's incredible to think that one small discovery made thousands of years ago still influences the lives of millions of people today. History isn't just about kings, battles, or giant monuments. Sometimes it's about one curious human throwing a strange plant into a fire and wondering, what happens if I breathe that in? That simple question may have changed the world forever. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. What ancient human mystery should we explore next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.